Hi, my name is Matthew Rock, and today we are looking at technology and the Major League Baseball strike zone. The technology we're looking at surrounds instant replay in sports, which is the review of calls using technology. It's growing a lot in recent years, and it has not been addressed in the strike zone in Major League Baseball, however. So the client in this situation is Major League Baseball, or MLB, and the situation is determined whether or not instant replay is feasible with the current available technology, how it would be enabled, and if it should be enabled given the current climate surrounding baseball. So not only are we looking at if this technology is available, but how it be implemented and if it should be implemented. And came to the conclusion that it should be implemented because of the ability to improve the accuracy of calls. Since we'll take a look at the number of incorrect calls surrounding balls and strikes in Major League Baseball, it will reduce controversy since these incorrect calls have led to numerous ejections and halts in play, and it will level the playing field related to balls and strikes, as we will take a look at how both players and teams are affected by these inaccurate calls and how it affects the game of baseball as a business. So first, we're going to look at the history of instant replay. George Retzlaff in the 1955-56 NHL season used a hot processor to produce a wet film replay of a goal. That was the first use of any type of replay technology. And then a couple decades later, in 1986, the NFL adopted instant replay in a game where an official in the press box had the authority to reverse any call that was totally conclusive. The MLB has been the most resistant to instant replay. They didn't really use it until 2008, and that was only to review home run calls. So they haven't used it for anything else, except they have in the last couple of years. It has grown a little bit that they've reviewed more and more calls, but it has not affected the strike zone, which is a call made on every pitch in the baseball game. So the issue that we're looking at right now, in 2020, it was a study done by data collected by True Media and reported on by the Washington Post, said that there were 11,644 incorrect calls, which was about 6.5 per game. And through August 1st of 2021, there were 6.1 incorrect calls per game. Over a 10-year span, the umpires average incorrect call rate of 12.8%. So there are more than a couple missed calls per game, and we know that just one incorrect call can lead to controversy and can lead to a change in the way the game is played or a change in the outcome of a game. And these are number of calls missed per game. So looking at a little more of the problem, there was a study that came out that showed a two-strike bias, where when there were two strikes, there were umpires that were almost twice as likely, 29% versus 15%, that they were likely to call a ball a strike. So when there were two strikes, 29% of the time they were likely to call a ball a strike. When there were not two strikes in a count, then they were only 15% likely to call a ball a strike. So when there were two strikes in a count, they were more likely to call a ball a strike. There were strike zone blind spots, most notably at the top of the strike zone. We'll get a little bit more in depth about how the strike zone is kind of created, but just think about the top of the strike zone is where there were blind spots according to this study. And the age of the umpires was also a factor that showed that the younger umpires more consistently outperformed the older umpires, and the older umpires consistently made more incorrect calls. Even though this was the case, the older umpires had seniority and were given the more prominent baseball games as well. This also affects the business of baseball. The Baltimore Orioles have seen 147 pitches called balls that should have been called strikes, according to some of the technology out there, and as a result, allowed estimated 21 more runs expected in 2021. So this affected the number of wins. This could have affected the number of wins that the Baltimore Orioles have gotten, and of course, their wins can affect their output and can affect how many fans come to their games. If they're losing more and more games, they have less fans come to their games, which less tickets are sold, and less money is made. So it affects the bottom line of their business. And a player example is pitcher Matt Harvey had a strike call on 79% of pitches thrown in the strike zone. So this affected his outcomes as well, and it shows that that this problem can affect if he's not getting the strike calls when they should have been called, and he's losing more games when it comes time for a contract, he might not make as much money, so it can affect his bottom line and his business as well. So a SWOT analysis, competitive analysis, was done, and the strengths of this technology in Major League Baseball is improving the accuracy of calls. It would create less controversy and a more even playing field. The weaknesses, it could take away the human interaction and the human error that baseball has been kind of built on. It could slow down play. There have been studies shown that it could take a couple seconds for the technology to relay the information on whether it's a ball or a strike to the umpire. And this shows that technology might not necessarily be ready for it. Opportunities, it could allow the Major League Baseball to become a forefront of technology in professional sports. And the threats is there's a community that does not want the human error taken out of the game. So the technology that's out there, StatCast is what's been around since 2015. It is MLB's basically program that's a combination of radar equipment and high-resolution cameras to track every movement on a baseball field, like I said, since 2015. And there have been numerous companies that have taken part in that technology. PitchFX, QuestTech, TrackMan, and now Hawkeye have all contributed their equipment to the StatCast system. Hawkeye is the most recent technology and is the current technology that MLB has an agreement with. It's by Sony Entertainment Inc. It is 12 high-resolution, high-frame-rate video cameras synchronized together and has an optical tracking system and vision processing technology with a plus or minus of 0.1-inch accuracy. So it's the newest technology that the Major League Baseball is using to track balls and strikes and track the ball that's going through the strike zone. So basically the strike zone is an imaginary box, and you can see the picture here where the vertical edges go from one end of home plate to the other, and the horizontal edges go from the middle of the hitter's chest to their knees. So what will happen is the Hawkeye system will track the ball going through this imaginary box. It will call it. It will decide whether or not it goes through the box, which it would be a strike. If it does not go through the box, it will be a ball. That call will be sent to the umpire, who is wearing an earpiece, and he'll hear in his earpiece either ball or strike. And then we'll make the call just as he would now. So that earpiece is connected to a cell phone that the umpire has on him, and which is connected to the Hawkeye system through Wi-Fi. And so you wouldn't even know that the system is in there. It's actually in the background. The umpire will still make the call just like any other time. He just has an earpiece telling him which call to make. So as far as implementation, Major League Baseball and umpires have agreed to a new collective bargaining agreement that lasts 5 years, where umpires will cooperate in implementing this new technology in exchange for increased compensation or retirement benefits designed to let older umpires retire sooner. It has been used over the last couple of years, most notably in 2019, using the TrackMan system in a couple of the minor league systems in the Atlantic League, the Arizona Fall League, and the Florida State League. So it has already been in the background, has still kind of been used over the last couple of years in preparation for this technology. So I want to continue that trend. The Hawkeye system hasn't been used yet in the minors, so in 2022 we want it to be used in one minor league system, followed in 2023 where we roll it out to all minor league systems in the MLB All-Star Game, and then finally roll it out to Major League Baseball in 2024. So basically a 3-year rollout to get this into them. There's no cost associated with it. It's already built into the MLB budget. Hawkeye is already a part of the MLB system. We just want to get it implemented. The benefits is it improves the accuracy of strike zone calls, reduces controversy of incorrect calls, and levels the playing field. As we took a look at the couple of examples of players and teams getting more incorrect calls than others, this would level the playing field with those incorrect calls going away. So now is the time for this change to occur. We want MLB to be in the forefront of technology in professional sports. Major League Baseball has a no tolerance policy when it comes to arguing balls and strikes. You get immediately ejected from a game if you argue balls and strikes, but now it needs the no tolerance policy when it comes to balls and strikes errors. And here are the references. Thank you very much and have a good day.